Introducing Zentrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zentrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zentrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing... Ooh. Wrong mic. Okay, that's better. What's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing good. As always guys, any comments, any charts, any pairs you're looking at, feel free to drop it in the chat. Any questions as well. And we shall take a look during the stream. What's up, Bashi? Welcome to the stream. Appreciate it, my man. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Hit the bell. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Like the stream. All the good stuff does really help out. And I do really appreciate it. Of course, any questions, any pairs you want to look at, drop it in the chat. And we shall investigate. But, guys, really appreciate you tuning in for another stream. Still in the... Oh, wow. Still in the trade on your stream. Wow, multitasking. And it's finest there, Bashi. I'm impressed. What position you in, Bashi? What pair are you trading? What's up, Obscuro? Welcome to the stream. Struggling gold, momentum both sides. Yeah, we'll take a look at gold. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of gold price action. It's horrendous price action. So I'm staying well away from gold. Of course, I'll go through it. I'm about to go through USD pairs, take a look at the DXY, USD majors, gold and silver. So we're going to get through gold at some point very soon. But I'm not the biggest fan of gold. And quite frankly, I'm staying away until the price action improves. But we will take a look. And you're probably not the only one struggling on gold. Bashi, okay, nice. Euro long's been choppy. Yeah, I can imagine the lower time frame. So that small move there is what you're trading. Well, this is the 8-hour time frame. Let me drop to the 4-hour. Not like it looks any bigger, but yeah, nice position. Yeah, we'll go through a bunch of pairs, guys. Of course, any requests, any pairs you're looking at, drop it down in the chat, and of course, we shall take a look and see. But otherwise, let's get into it. And of course, we'll take a look at a perp trading platform as well. And I do have a proposition for you guys, so look out for that. But at the moment, USD. So we have seen some strength. Of course, I've been calling for a lot of USD strength for the past couple of weeks, and sort of we've seen that. It just wasn't enough for me to really execute a trade. I was debating about looking to short euro, but I wasn't really liking it because momentum wasn't really there. It was quite corrective. Same situation here with the DXY, really corrective on the way up. It's not the reversal which I wanted to see. And again, there will be some situations where you have a bias in the market and price doesn't really give you the setup or the entry or your confirmations that you normally do take, but potentially price still does move in that desired direction. And that's kind of the situation I'm in right now. Didn't really see a good entry, so I stayed away. Well, I did have an entry for euro, but I did exit that trade pretty quickly. But yeah, since then, yes, we've sort of picked up momentum, but overall it is quite corrective. So my worry is that we do go for a bit of a sell. I need a bit more development. This could turn into a bit of a bowl shape pattern, which is a reversal pattern and perhaps something that could interest me on that kind of dip there, but we'll have to wait and see. I do like the fact that we did break out of this descending channel, which shows that the bulls have stepped in. This area of demand has essentially held and price has reacted to that. But as we do approach this resistance level here, which I said would be my first target if I am looking to buy the dollar, we're about to approach this level now, or we could argue already there. And this could be an interesting level for euro. Perhaps we do see a push back down again. So I would be quite watchful of that for euro USD. If we do break, great. There is a possibility we could smash into the highs there as well. But I think momentum does need to pick up. We've been quite corrective. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of getting in now. I think it's a little bit late to the party. Euro is kind of the same situation. It just didn't quite set up enough for me to take the trade. But in fairness, we have made a nice move to the upside. You know, price did respect this area of demand. Nice breakout. It did kind of respect some structure to our left. And we've continued to the upside. I think from an intraday perspective, there's been some nice swings, some nice pullbacks on the way up. But now that we're testing resistance, I probably would back off a little bit from that bullish bias. Yes, we've broken out. Yes, we've seen some momentum, but that could change as we do approach 98.8. So I'll be a little bit careful of that. So dollar, I'm still bullish, but now I'm looking to see what we do here next. So I'm a bit more neutral now, kind of waiting to see, do we reject? Do we break through? Does momentum pick up? Do we start firing some wicks? Do we see bearish engulfing candles? That will kind of help me predict the next possible move for euro. At the moment, nice swing, testing a big level. Let's see where we can go from there. I'm going to not really suggest the direction just yet because I'm kind of waiting for a bit more information. As for euro, so this was a pair which I was involved early in the week. I did take some shorts actually in the 8-hour chart on this candle. In hindsight, maybe I should have stayed in the trade a little bit longer, give the trade a little bit more wiggle room. But the idea of the trade was that we broke out of this candle trend line, so I wanted to see more aggressive momentum. Didn't quite see that. We had this strong close here, so I did exit there. Of course, if I stayed in, would be in a bit of profit, but you know, hindsight is always a wonderful thing. But in fairness, I'm not even too keen about the trade, to be honest. I know momentum picked up a little bit there, but we are still quite corrective. Don't get me wrong, I'm still bearish on euro. We are still respecting areas of supply here. And we do have this kind of rough trend line, which price is still respecting to a degree. That's your first high, second high, perhaps the third one. So we have seen the breakout. We have seen some momentum. But again, similar situation to the DXY. We're about to test support right now. So it's not like we've seen a crazy move. We are testing a somewhat of a significant level, which could turn us around. Of course, if you break through this, then yeah, I do expect us just to end up back at the lows again. And perhaps we do really see the strength of USD come in and see the USD majors all kind of react accordingly. But yeah, euro, it just didn't really play ball. Maybe in hindsight, could have stayed in the trade a little bit longer. So maybe need to look into that again myself. But yeah, momentum has been a bit slow. It's been a bit corrective on the way down. So that's kind of why I stayed out and didn't get back involved. So yeah, we're going to see how euro does develop, see what we do here in relation to the DXY as well. Perhaps we do find support. Perhaps we do get the breakout. That's going to help me dictate my next bias, whether we're looking for a swing back to resistance or a swing back to that low. Need a bit more information. But at the moment, USD is looking pretty strong. Euro's down. If we head over to pound USD, that's down as well. I'm still not entirely convinced about pound USD as well. It's been really corrective on the way down. I am kind of keeping a close eye on this inverse head and shoulder pattern. You got your left, you got your head, you got your right shoulder potentially in this area. You know, I could see a situation where something like that happens. Of course, this would be our neckline for the pattern. And if we are going to form the right shoulder, you know, this is the time and place for that to happen. And judging how we've got here, it's not like we've been very aggressive. I would say it's more so corrective on the way down. That does give me a little bit of an expectation that we do find support here and we do see some upside. Of course, whether it's a full swing to the highs or just a reaction for us to continue lower at a later date, we'll find out. But I would be careful about shorting pound USD. I think if you're intraday, sure, there could be some shorts on the lower time frame, perhaps even a retest of this last bearish leg. Nice push to the upside, really nice continuation. If I was intraday, I think that would be a really nice place for a short. But again, I wouldn't be looking for a crazy move. If I can catch another lower high, great. I'll just see if I can stretch it back to lows and then call it a day. That's all I'll be looking for from an intraday perspective. Nothing particularly crazy, especially if you can get an entry like on a 50-minute chart. That could be a really nice swing actually. But from a swing bias, we're approaching support. Let's see what price does at this area, and that will kind of help us dictate what pound's going to do next, because it is a pretty significant level of support, as we can see here, as we can see there, and potentially could act again. If price does have a substantial break of this level, then yeah, possibly you could see a swing back to the lows here as well, and perhaps there could be some nice shorts below that area on the way down. So there's still opportunity on the line here, but I'm kind of pausing the bias and just waiting to see what we do at that level of support, and we'll go from there. Dollar CAD has been pretty bullish. In fairness to this one, nice upside. It did actually have a pretty decent breakout as well. Cleared the highs here pretty well. Price has been pretty bullish. Again, for dollar CAD, I'll still be very watchful of this one, despite the bullish momentum. We are approaching some areas of supply, especially on the daily chart, where that could start to run out of steam a little bit. I think if you're intraday, you just kind of focus on the buys for now. Don't want to overthink it. There's a lot of bullish momentum. We just cleared some highs. I think if you're looking at intraday pullbacks, if I drop back to the 4-hour time frame, let's say if you can find a retest of this area, I still think that's a very smart place for a long. I just wouldn't be looking for a huge trade here or a big swing. It will be a situation where if we do get a pullback here, see some healthy rejection, I think it's a smart place to trade it back into the high and then probably call it quits there. Momentum still looks pretty good. Yes, we're coming to an area of supply where selling pressure could come in and potentially buyers taking profit and we could turn around, but we don't have that information just yet. We've only just entered. So if you see a relatively healthy pullback, nice and corrective, test an area of value well, like this one here at 1.388, I still think that's a smart place for a buy. But the key kind of thing we're focusing on here for dollar CAD is the market is very bullish, so naturally buying makes sense. But we are coming to some areas where sellers could be hopping in. Maybe this bullish move is a little bit overextended as well. So we're not looking for crazy bullish moves, just trying to take a small piece of the pie. And then we'll see how price develops probably next week in terms of shorts. In terms of Aussie dollar, kind of the same situation here with this one as well. It's still quite bearish. Looks like it's trying to break the lows, but I wouldn't say we've done a good job of that yet. Haven't really seen much bullish momentum kick in, so I wouldn't even say the buys look that great at the moment. I like how corrective we are. It's a sign that the bears are running out of steam and not really seeing much aggression. And of course, all the equal lows here, all the wicks here really do imply that support is holding. But I wouldn't look for any buys for Aussie dollar until maybe a convincing breakout of the level. Maybe a strong close on the hourly chart to really identify that momentum is picked up for the buyers. And that itself could be a nice entry. And that itself could give us a bit of a pullback there. Because, of course, we are testing support. We've had a really big drop over the past few days. I think the market is a little bit stretched anyway. And naturally is looking for a bit of a pullback. In terms of shorts for Aussie dollar, there's only one area I'm interested in. And that would be this area up here at 0.64900. Really nice support once, twice. Miniature kind of area of supply there. Really strong drop to the downside. That naturally would be a healthy place for a short. Of course, will we get there? I don't know. Maybe we do see a pullback there. Maybe we don't. But if I had to look for a short, it would be in and around that area. I still do think there is more downside for Aussie dollar. I look at the daily chart. I look at the structure here. We've had the big breakout of this ascending channel. We've had a lovely pullback, a lovely retest of that area as well. So naturally, I do expect a bit more downside. So I am still bearish on Aussie dollar. But again, right now we are trading into support. So it doesn't make so much sense to look to sell the market where it is right now. You want to see a bit of an up move to sell it again, and a push into that area would be the best possible place, in my opinion, for now. But there could be some nice buys in the short term, so look out for that as well. New Zealand dollar, kind of a similar situation in terms of we've had a big move down. I would say the market's a bit stretched. You can see we're looking a little bit tired here as well, so perhaps the pullback is on the cards. We've kind of got these dips here, 1, 2, kind of looking at third, sort of line up with a bit of a trend line there. I do think price is due for a bit of a push higher. Also, if I expand to the weekly chart, I believe we are approaching a pretty significant level of support. Let me just clear this up. So as you can see here, really significant level of support, really strong reaction. We're coming to that area there again. And of course, naturally got some resistance here previously, which of course will be turned support. I'm not necessarily calling for a huge reversal, but I do think we can see at least a bit of an up move. Even if price is going to later break through this level, I think we are likely to see a bullish reaction, even if it is just in terms of a pullback and price later breaks the level potentially. So yeah, we're coming to bullish zone now. Yes, New Zealand dollar has been pretty bearish, but I would say if you're not already in the shorts, it's a little bit late to be entering now. Again, I'm speaking purely from more like a 4-hour hourly perspective. Intraday, there might be some opportunities there, but we are looking quite tired, so I do expect to see a bit of a bounce soon and some upside. Likewise with Aussie dollar, stretched, overextended, testing key areas of support. Naturally, I do see a bit of a bounce. As for gold, yeah, gold's just been whipping back and forth. So as I've said, pretty much all week, maybe even all month, I'm not interested with gold. I'd rather just kind of focus on other pairs right now and leave gold to do what it wants to do. If you're struggling with gold, it's probably because the price action is horrible right now. And if that's the case, don't bother trading it. Don't feel obliged to trade something. If it's not clear to you, if it's not obvious, if the setup's not of high quality or something you understand very, very easily, then it's probably not worth your time, not worth your effort. So if that's the case, stay away. But the way I see gold right now, we're ranging equal highs there, equal lows, 32.60 roughly, 34.40. Those are the two areas which I'd want gold to move towards before I look for any opportunities. So if gold doesn't make a push to the upside, great. Let's see what we do at the highs. Do we get a breakout? Does price respect the level well? That's what I'm going to be focusing on. Likewise with the support level here. What price does in the middle, I'm not really interested in. I see that as just fluctuation, indecision. There's going to be a lot of random moves in here, as you will see with most ranging markets. In the middle, that's where you're going to get the most indecision, most chaos, and that's just really where it's easy to lose a bunch of trades and get stopped out a bunch of times as well. So yeah, I personally don't see much here for gold. A lot of fluctuation. I mean, there's some nice levels of support here, which we bounced on a few times. So if you are keen intraday, I'll be looking for very short-term moves, just trying to find key levels of support, key levels of resistance, and trying to pick a few kind of reactions here and there, not trying to stay in the trade for too long. Otherwise, I will leave gold alone, focus elsewhere, look for other markets. And if you really want to trade gold, then just kind of wait, be patient with it. But for now, that is my bias. That's my take. Hasn't really changed in a while. And as for silver, silver, I was interested in selling this. I still am, but I'm not quite seeing the behavior I want to see. We have pulled back into this nice area of supply, which of course gave us this really aggressive bearish candle early in the week, which is where I did hop short in, but I did exit later on this candle here. And I said if price was to come back into the supply, perhaps give me a stronger reaction or show me momentum is back with the bears again, I'll be more than happy to enter a trade. This candle at one point looked like we were about to get that, but it pulled back quite aggressively and closed bullish. So that was a huge red flag for the shorts, and now we're kind of just hovering in that area. We very much could be forming a lower high, getting ready for a sell. I just need a bit more development, especially in terms of momentum. Right now the market's quite flat, and this could also be a big fake out as well, and potentially price might use that to its advantage to go high. So I have to be quite cautious of that. But the way I see silver for now is I'm looking for this to be a lower high in comparison to that high. So that's your bearish leg. This is your somewhat pullback. Maybe not the most tidiest of pullbacks, but I'm looking at this as like a big correction for price to eventually continue lower. So I'm looking for shorts. And now that we have broken structure here with this leg, I'm looking for a lower high, and this is the area. If it does break to the upside, I'm not interested in the shorts anymore. But if we can hang on to this, start to see some rejection, momentum comes into play, great. I'll be looking for some selling opportunities. So that is kind of where I'm at with USD for now. But yeah, not the biggest fan. I have been bullish on dollar, but just haven't seen the best confirmations or the best entries really. Can hear your voice, my voice in your stream. That's funny. Emmanuel, I'm selling gold, also buying the dollar. Okay, nice. I mean, in terms of correlation, it does make sense. If dollar is going to be strong, that should give you some weakness for the dollar, weakness for gold, sorry, but that kind of sometimes is up in the air. Sometimes that correlation can be in full flow. Sometimes it can actually be the opposite. But yeah, I'm just not the biggest fan of gold right now. So if you're trying to take some opportunities of gold, my biggest advice, keep it short and sweet. Don't be looking for a big swing because you're just not seeing that right now with gold. You're seeing very kind of minute, smaller swings and smaller fluctuations. So, you know, kind of be prepared for that. Rotaseko, yep, Euro Yen, we can take a look, no problem. What's up, Ivan? Good morning, welcome to the stream. Yeah, Bitcoin, we can have a look, see as well. When the DXY is up, it means gold is down. Yes, they are inversely correlated, but there are times where they're actually positively correlated. Funny enough, the correlation does come into play. And then sometimes the correlation goes out of play a little bit, which is a little bit annoying. Morning, Tashi. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Yes, dollar yen, we can take a look at that. Ivan, think of New Zealand yen shorts if price comes to retest. Okay, we can take a look at that as well. It's better to trade on the hour 15 as day trade on gold, right? Yeah, in general, I mean, if you're day trading, hourly 50-minute chart is probably charts you'll focus on the most. But again, that's not necessarily say, you know, go and trade the hourly chart or the 50-minute chart right now for gold. I think the price action is just very, very messy. But in general, if that's what you're asking, then yeah, sure, I do agree. Okay, a bunch of pairs to go for. A lot of yen pairs being requested. I'm actually in a Aussie yen long, so that kind of does fit the tone quite nicely because I'm quite interested in yen pairs as well and seeing what the yen is going to do. So a bunch of yen pairs to go through. Quickly going to share with you the Perps platform we've been working on. Then I'll get through some requests. And of course, if you do have any particular requests, drop it in the chat and we shall take a look. But if you haven't checked out the platform yet, guys, I do have a link to the platform in the description below. But this is our Perps trading platform. Couldn't get my words out there. Again, probably a lot of you probably haven't traded Perps before. And again, it is something a lot newer to the Forex world. Similar to trading CFD, just speculating on price. So you're selling, you're buying, speculating on price to go up or down. Same kind of concept, similar to futures, except the contracts don't expire. So that's why it's quite similar to CFDs. You can hold a position as long as you want, as long as you don't get liquidated. But this is the platform we're working on. The advantage of this is that you can just connect with your Solana or crypto wallets to the platform and begin trading straight away, whether demo or live. You can also sign up with your email, so it's very, very easy to get started and signing up with. All you have to do is just click here, connect wallet, and click email if you want to sign up with your email. Or if you do have a Solana wallet, make sure you do have your extension on your browser, and then you'll be able to connect that and begin trading straight away. Also, we are looking to hopefully launch a competition to get people involved and people excited, and also reward traders on the platform as well. If you are interested, let us know. Again, the details of that will be finalized very, very soon, but we'll be doing a competition on the demo environment and just looking to see potentially who can make the most profit, maybe in a certain window. And there will be, of course, prizes and rewards for the traders who do perform the best. But if you haven't checked out the platform, I do have a full video breaking it down on my channel. So if you go to the channel, you'll be able to see that video, talk about the components, how to use it. Again, very, very simple. As to kind of most trading platforms, you can buy, sell, set orders, set stop orders, take profit, stop loss, all of the above. At the moment, you can only trade cryptocurrencies, but other markets will be coming very, very soon. FX, indices, stocks, commodities, all on the Perps platform as well. So do look out for that. But if you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you go and do so. Links in the description to that. Okay, so we'll take a look at some of the yen pairs. Euro yen, New Zealand yen, and dollar yen was requested, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Omar, would you like a sell on Aussie yen around 95.8? You don't like that sell? No, I'm actually buying Aussie yen, funny enough. I'm actually pretty bullish on Aussie yen. I am not interested in selling Aussie yen at all because I'm actually long on the pair. I actually just entered the position last night. So I'll go through that as well. But first, I'll go through some requested pairs and then we'll take a look at Euro USD as well for some FX. Appreciate it, Bashi. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help. Help out the stream, helps the content out, of course. And share it with your friends and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But yeah, we'll start with Euro Yen. In terms of the yen pairs, we'll probably go through all of them at this point in time. But in terms of Euro Yen, I'm still bullish on this one. Despite its kind of awkward price action, you could pretty much just box this off as a weird range, so to speak. I wouldn't really say we progressed much in the past kind of week or two with Euro Yen. But if I do expand to the higher time frames and look at the bigger picture, Euro Yen's a very, very bullish market to me. We broke out of this range with this lovely bullish move, and I'm looking at this as a pullback for us to continue higher. We've been so bullish, the pullback was very necessary at some point, and I think this is the pullback for us to continue higher. I still do have targets around 175-ish for us to get to. I do think there's a strong chance we do see that happen. So I do expect to see Euro Yen eventually pick up some strength again and start to push towards those highs. So in terms of opportunities, it's a little bit difficult because of how sideways and how choppy we've been. But what I would suggest would be waiting for price to kind of break out of this mess. So let's say if we can get a strong decisive breakout, something like this to really reinstate that bullish momentum is back. We're seeing the strength here. And of course, after that, pullbacks will make a lot of sense. And we'll be looking at continuations. 175 is just above our heads over there. And this is kind of our bullish structure. High, low, new high, new low, so on and so forth. So Euro Yen, I am leaning to the bullish side of things. Of course, at the moment, we are sideways. We are stuck in the range. So I wouldn't really do anything in terms of opportunities at the moment unless you're looking to potentially short the high. Let me move this out of the way. So unless you're looking to short the high or buy the low, okay, that makes sense. But you're kind of more looking for smaller short-term opportunities. If you're looking for a swing trade or something of the trend following nature, I would wait for a breakout and then look for opportunities in that direction. So pullbacks, even potentially buying the breakout could be something to look into, but that's what I would suggest would be a really nice opportunity. So going forward with Euro Yen, still bullish, still expecting push to 175. I'm expecting this to be our new higher low after this high was created. So this is our pullback. And now I'm expecting somewhat of a bullish trend to start to form. But of course, we are relying on a positive break, seeing price break to the upside, and then some opportunities backing that up. So that's kind of where I'm at for Euro Yen. Expecting more upside. In terms of dollar yen, and then we'll take a look at New Zealand yen and Aussie yen. In terms of dollar yen, seeing some upside as well. Of course, the DXY kind of breakout is sort of helping that out. It's not like we've seen crazy strength with the USD, but it has kind of led to a bit of a breakout here. Price has been very, very sideways for quite some time now for USD JPY, and it looks like we're starting to break out. I do worry with this level just above our heads. Actually, let me just use the zone tool. Bit easier. I do worry about that level above our heads. That could potentially send us back down again as well. So I would be a bit cautious of that. If we do see a solid break of this high, then I would expect us naturally just to push back into the 4-hour swing high there at 150.9. But yeah, for dollar yen, in terms of an opportunity, I would just keep an eye on the high here. That's where my focus would be on this level. Because equally, there could be a nice short on the way back down. If we do see some adequate rejection there, wicks, strong bearish engulfing candle, especially in the 4-hour chart, I think that's actually a smart place for a short. If price really picks up momentum and breaks through then the likeliness of us going to push to the high there, I would say, is pretty high. Some pullbacks would look really good, perhaps even a retest of that level, or maybe a retest of the high here, and then looking for continuation back to the highs would be the play. So dollar yen, my bias is a bit more neutral now. I know we've seen some nice strength there, but my interest is basically what we do at this level, because if I see healthy rejection, I'm looking for a short. If we break through, that's a really bullish signal. What I would suggest though is that we are somewhat bullish on the daily chart in terms of this market structure. We have seen higher highs and higher lows, so I am somewhat bullish on dollar yen, looking for this very light uptrend to continue to eventually get back to highs. So I do see price eventually pushing to the upside. Of course, we could mess around, we could still see another dip before that happens, but long term I am bullish for now anyway. So dollar yen, I do expect more upside, but let's not forget that resistance level, because that could definitely push us back down again. So I'll be quite cautious of that. In terms of Aussie yen, I did hop into a long for this one yesterday afternoon, so I'm not interested in shorting Aussie yen. I understand why, because of course we approach this nice area of supply, and that could be a nice area that gives us a lower high, and perhaps we do get a continuation. In fact, for my long trade, I'm very watchful of this area, because that could make or break my position. But the reason I'm long is more so focusing on the bigger uptrend, the bigger swing at play. Because I did speak on Aussie yen last week, and at the start of this week, I said if we do see a strong push into this area, coming back to retest this range here, I do think this is a smart area for a long, for perhaps the continuation of the larger daily structure. If you look at the structure as a whole, we've gone from making lower lows and lower highs to making higher lows and higher highs and higher lows. Now I'm anticipating potentially another higher low forming, for potentially another higher high, or at least a pushback to the previous high, which is around 97. So I'm pretty bullish on the Aussie yen, and we pull back into some really nice areas of structure. If I go to the weekly chart, you know, all of this here was prior resistance. Look at all the wicks there on the weekly chart. 1, 2, 3, 4 really aggressive piercing wicks into that zone, really kind of confirming to us that this is a strong level of resistance. And now prices, of course, broken through that. I'm looking at this move here as a correction to get the retest of this area for continuation. I'm not convinced about a longer term drop here. Yes, if price does eventually break through, then I'll reinvestigate and probably change my bias. But the way I see it, we've broken through substantial resistance, and now this has turned support. We've had a really nice wick into a nice area of confluence, nice area of demand there, which is basically this range here. And I saw a substantial rejection on the 4-hour chart, and that was my opportunity to find an entry. Now I'm looking to see if we can push this a lot higher. So I'm pretty bullish on Aussie yen. Of course, from like an intraday point of view, you might see some downside opportunities off the retest of this level. So I can see the logic there, but long term, I do see us pushing up higher. So yeah, I would keep an eye for maybe some intraday shorts, or maybe like maybe even an hourly chart. I think that could look good. If we do stay corrected, that could give us a bit of a sell there, but I do expect the bigger move to be to the upside. I'm seeing a lot of rejection, especially in the 3-day chart, a lot of wicks to the downside here as well. The way I see it, this looks like a likely flag pattern for us to continue higher. So that's really what I'm looking to trade. I'm looking to trade this correction pattern for continuation higher. This would be the more aggressive trade. The more conservative trade would be waiting for us to get the breakout of the channel, either looking to buy on the breakout or wait for price to, you know, somewhat pull back afterwards for the continuation. Trying to buy the dips here always leaves you with the possibility that price does do something like this again, of course. But the benefit of taking these type of entries is that because it's a bit more aggressive, you're in before prices really turn bullish, which allows you to really get involved at the start of the move, potentially hold through the breakout, potentially hold through the continuation. So you could take advantage of some really big risk reward opportunities if the trend does really decide to continue. But you know, even if it does push the highs there, still getting at least the 1 to 2 there. So I like the risk reward, I like the setup, I like the rejection we got as well. Really strong shift of momentum. Price was quite flat on the way down, and we saw a really convincing close, which I quite liked. So yeah, I've hopped into some buys there for Aussie yen. If I was looking to sell Aussie yen, I probably would wait for a push closer to the high of the channel. We got this nice area of supply there, so I would wait for us to kind of approach an area like this before shorting. So hopefully try and catch another one of these lower highs. So that's kind of where I would short if I was looking to short the pair. And that's definitely an area which, as a buyer, I'm going to be very paying a lot of attention to. Because if price does start to struggle here, starts to show some signs of maybe a lower high forming, that could be a sign for me to pull the trade early, or maybe be a bit more aggressive in terms of trading my stops. So that would be an area which I do keep a close eye on. But for now, I'm pretty bullish on Aussie yen. New Zealand yen is slightly different though. We've had a really aggressive drop because, of course, we had the NZD news earlier this week. So NZD isn't looking as comfortable in terms of the buys as Aussie because of that drop there being very, very aggressive. But we are approaching areas of demand as well, so I would be a bit more cautious with the shorts with New Zealand yen in this area. If I was looking to short New Zealand yen, I would wait for a larger pullback. I said yesterday, at least a push to the low here. I think I probably would prefer a push to this area because I think I might get some nice trendline confluence there as well. So something like this could look really good. So not only are you testing a nice area of supply, but perhaps you get another test of this trend line, first, second, maybe third test. So that's kind of where the confluence does lie. So if I was looking to short New Zealand yen, it would be around 87. 86.6 could also be a nice area as well, just to break me test of the prior low. But in terms of where the confluence is at its best, especially for a swing trade, I would suggest 87.1. Not 71. 87.1, 87.2. That kind of area I would suggest would be an area which I would like to short the most. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the yen pairs. Still looking for yen strength as a whole. And not quite convinced about the reversal just yet. SamFX, we can take a look at Euro USD for you. No problem, happy. I actually got out that short signal. I didn't like the momentum. But it is playing out pretty well, so I think it's probably my bad for getting out too early. Yusuf, good morning. Hope you're doing good. Welcome, welcome. I'm doing good today. Thank you for asking. Hope you're well. Thoughts on Euro and GU on the 15. Okay, we can take a look. So I'll just go for Euro and Pound then. And I did exit my Pound Aussie longs, by the way. I was holding that one for about a couple of weeks, but we did see a pretty strong reaction off the high there, so I did close the trade. This was the level I had as my initial target, which of course made a lot of sense since prices had a lot of rejection at this level. So we did manage to hit it on Wednesday, I believe. Yeah, Wednesday. There was a slight rejection, but I still had held through that. And then price started to rally again and started to see some momentum here. And that's what convinced me to close the trade. I wasn't really prepared to give the trade a lot of room to breathe if it is going to get the breakout. It's more so if momentum was strong and it showed signs of a breakout, I'll hold onto the trade. If it didn't, I'll close the position. So because of that, I did walk away from that position and close the rest after that candle closed. But yeah, I'm happy with the trade. It kind of hit my overall target for it. Looking for the breakout was definitely more of a bonus if that was going to happen. It might still happen. I'll keep an eye. I think there could be some nice opportunities similar to Pound NZD if we do get it back above resistance, because then the next target for Pound Aussie would be a push all the way up there. So if you do see a strong break of this level, there is a lot of distance, a lot of tradable room there for Pound Aussie from the breakout here to the next level. So that's something to keep an eye on. But I'd rather just look for a re-entry rather than stomach a pretty big move back down after a strong rejection of a key level. So I did close that trade, and now I'm long on Aussie yen. So we'll see how that gets going. In terms of Euro USD, we can take a look at that on the 15. I think that's what you guys mentioned. Let me just get rid of this so we can drop to the 15 and look at it in a bit more detail. So yeah, the 15-minute chart, we have seen some nice bearish structure come into play. I did suggest that price was kind of squeezing here with some lower highs and equal lows. So I said some short-term opportunities could look good. Didn't see much of a rejection off that low. I did say yesterday that it could be a bounce here, but price just broke through with ease. Not much of a rejection, to be honest. And we have been looking pretty bearish since then. Overall, still quite corrective. Looks like we've just pinched the low here as well. So you can say things have shifted bearish. We've gone from a bullish market to somewhat being bearish. I wouldn't say it's aggressively bearish. It's not like prices, really aggressively reversed here. It's more like a slow death sort of thing. So I wouldn't get too excited about this bearish structure. But yes, I would have a short bias. Would I look for a short here? Probably not, to be honest. Probably not, just because we're so close to this low here. This is an area which I would expect a lot of buyers to be looking to hop into the market. Equally so at this area here as well. So despite this being a nice area of supply, a strong drop, we very much could get a break and retest and see price continue. I wouldn't bank on that just because of where we're located. I think because it's so close to this low, it does run the risk of price just having that deeper or a bigger bullish movement off that low. So personally, I would avoid that break and retest. If this was higher up or not directly into such a key level of support, yes, I think that would be a nice setup, just a simple break and retest. But I would be looking for a deeper pullback, probably more towards this kind of area. This is a nice area of supply, which gave us this strong drop here, which of course broke through, actually not so much that low, but at least broke through this low here, which gave us a pretty convincing downturn. So if we were to pull back, I would suggest around the 1.164 would be an area which I'd be interested in, and perhaps trying to catch another one of these lower highs. So you've got one over there, second, third, fourth, potentially your fifth, and that's where I'll be happy with a short, not directly into a key level of support, probably get a bigger swing as well. I think you'll have a lot more joy with that opportunity. So yeah, going forward with euro dollar, I would say I'm bearish on the 15, but because of where we're trading, I would avoid shorting here. This is more of a bullish area, I would suggest, especially the fact that we only slightly broke through the low and then recovered it pretty quickly afterwards. Yeah, so I would be quite careful with the breaking retest here, unless you're looking for a very short-term move, maybe, but I wouldn't look for a big swing here. This is where I look for a bigger swing, which could take me all the way to the lows, if things really work out. So yeah, Euro USD, bearish bias. We got bearish structure, which is the dominant structure now. We have broken through some lows. I would wait for a deeper pullback. We've got some nice confidence in this area. So that's kind of where I'd focus my efforts. In terms of pound USD, of course, this one's been pretty bearish as well. We talked about this trend line, pretty consistent lower highs. Very nice short opportunity there as well, which we spoke about yesterday. Nice continuation to the lows. Wasn't expecting such an aggressive move. Of course, we did have some USD news yesterday afternoon, which helped this move out. But it is still presenting similar opportunities. We've got another area of supply here. Found support, nice push up. Then we dropped to the downside. Naturally, that would be acting as an area of supply, more so like on a higher time frame. But from a 50-minute chart, anywhere within that area, I think, is a sensible area to short from. Of course, you've got the lower highs, 1, 2, 3. Perhaps could be finding a fourth in a similar area as well. And naturally just looking for the bearish trend to continue. So, yeah, for pound, I would be pretty bearish as well. I can see there's a bit of structure here, but I would wait for the deeper pullback naturally. I think we are a little bit overextended in this move. Not only have we been falling since the high over here, but we've also had this move here, which is a bit stretched. So naturally, I would like to see a bit of a deeper pullback, come into this area, hopefully test it well. Very similar opportunity to the Euro USD short we just spoke of. And then, yeah, hopefully another leg to the downside, targeting lows as well. So, yeah, Euro and Pound, I would be pretty bearish on the 15. We're seeing convincing bearish structure. Momentum looks pretty good. We've got some strong areas of confluence to trade from. It's all about if price can get there and react well. And yeah, I would suggest those are some smart areas to be taking some shorts, and we can be looking for some continuations off the back of that. So yeah, looking for a deeper pullback for pound and then some more downside. Okay, so in terms of do you simply trade breakouts, or do you have entry models with different confirmations? Yeah, I do have different confirmations. Like for example, my Aussie yen is not a breakout opportunity. That's me trying to catch a low off a channel. So that's a. Oh, let me go to the 4-hour chart. So this is a different type of entry. This is an entry where price is in a channel. I'm trying to catch the low, the dip, to potentially get in early for the breakout, because of course the breakout opportunity would be waiting for price to break out of the channel, which indicates that momentum is back. It indicates that we're probably going to see a continuation back to the highs and maybe further as well. So that would be a breakout opportunity, but here I'm getting involved before. Other trades I've taken, like pound Aussie, was a breakout trade. I'll wait for price to break out of consolidation before entering that one. So the entry was after we broke out of this, and that was the entry there as well. So it depends on the opportunity. Sometimes it will be a bit more aggressive and get into early. Sometimes if things are not looking quite clear, I would wait for momentum with a breakout of maybe like a counter trend line, or in this case, a consolidation as well. So it depends on the entry. It doesn't depend on depends on the situation. Sometimes I might wait for the breakout if things are not looking quite clear. If I'm not really convinced by the price action, waiting for the breakout allows me to be more confident, a bit more convinced. And entries like this are a little bit more aggressive, but they do allow for bigger risk reward opportunities. And waiting for the breakout here would simply just be way too late. I wouldn't really have a smart place for my stop loss as well. So in this scenario, I wouldn't wait for the breakout because most of the move is already gone. I'll be more content with an entry here. Anyway, where were we? Oh, you shorting pound USD, Yusuf? Okay, looking for shorts. Okay. Some effects, please let us know when you exit a signal. Yeah, I did. I do update on the membership. So if you want to get analysis in terms of the breakdown of the trades, the management of the trades, exit of the trades, I do video updates on them in the memberships, which is on the channel. So if you want to check it out, you can go through the perks and the advantages of that. But on the Telegram, I kind of just share updates in terms of entries. Hasnain, yes, we can take a look at BTC, no problem. What's up, Lenny? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Welcome. Dimar, what is up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. Can someone slap Euro, please? Yeah, it's looking a little bit choppy last time I had a look at it. At least intraday. What's your target, Bashi, for the trade? How far are you looking to take this one high? Yes, we can take a look at gold. No problem. Play, thank you for providing good POVs and explanations. Happy to help. I'm glad you're finding the streams useful. If that is the case, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, people. But we can take a look at BTC and we'll go through gold as well. And of course, if there are particular timeframes you want me to take a look at, let me know as well. Most of the time I'm on the 4-hour chart mostly. But if you do want me to go a bit more intraday or slightly higher, let me know as well. Okay, we'll go through BTC next. So Bitcoin, last time I looked at this one, we were just kind of respecting support. Ooh, and that looks to be the case still. So yeah, we're at support here. Now, I do expect a bit of a bounce for Bitcoin. I can tell by the price action that we are looking a little bit tired now. How we're kind of in this descending manner, really corrective, not really seeing much momentum. We had an aggressive drop over here, but we haven't really shown much strength since then. So I do think we're likely to see a bit of a bounce. And this could turn into a bit of a range for Bitcoin. You know, we had the double top over there, really aggressive reaction. Are we going to form a bit of a double bottom here and respect the low? If that's the case, this could turn into somewhat of a range here, which could be quite interesting because this might be like a big pause for BTC. We could see perhaps signs of a reversal if we do break to the downside, or we might get a lovely continuation if we do break to the upside and find some pullbacks afterwards. But for now, we're at support, so the only thing I will look to do here for BTC would be looking to buy. Again, here I would wait for some momentum to pick up because we are quite flat right now. Haven't really seen much strength. So maybe a strong close like this on the 4-hour chart could present a nice entry in itself. Something like that, stops below the low. Maybe a target kind of the midpoint of the range. Let's see if I get the fib. So I would say that's a nice initial target, 50%. You can be fairly confident price gets there. And then you can take some positions off and then hold the rest back to the high. And you can go from there. But yeah, I would wait for some momentum to creep in. It doesn't have to be as big as that, but I just want to see a candle really show strength from support because right now we haven't really seen that, especially in this corrective nature. And of course, price could still break to the downside. It's not guaranteed that we do respect support here. So I want to see some conviction to the upside to indicate momentum. You've got the 50% there, which isn't necessarily a significant level of support resistance. It's more of a reference point. A nice kind of checkpoint, if you will, to bank some partials or remove risk. And yeah, if this is going to turn into a full-blooded range, then we should see a pushback to 123k. And of course, at least you're taking buys, which does favor the uptrend. So you do have that natural kind of confluence to your position as well. So yeah, BTC, I don't mind the buys here, still looking quite flat. So kind of waiting for entry signals to come into play. But I'm expecting a bounce here. If we break through, we can analyze again. I mean, there is an area below us over here, which is definitely interesting. A nice area of demand on the daily chart, really strong push to the upside. If this doesn't hold, then this would be the next best place for a buy. I'm kind of looking for a similar move to the upside if that's the case. But we'll speak about that if this support level doesn't hold. For now, looking for a bounce at 112. Okay, so we'll go take a look at gold next, and then we'll go through UJ and GJ and the 15. So for gold, again, I'm not too sure what you guys are seeing for gold. It's a very chaotic price action, so just staying away really. The opportunities, as I keep saying, and will keep saying until something changes, is again looking to buy high, looking to buy low, or sell high. You know, waiting for price to approach the upper limits of the range or the lower limits, and that's where I want to do my business. Whether I'm looking for breakouts, whether I'm looking for the retest, I'll monitor price action at those areas and wait for price to kind of give me the story. Are we looking for a breakout? Are we seeing aggressive momentum, breaking support or breaking resistance? Or are we seeing rejection, wicks forming? That's really what I want to find out. That's the information I'm looking for, and then I can plot opportunities off that. Anything in here is just kind of 50-50 in my opinion. It's a bit more fluctuation. Yes, there might be some lower time frame opportunities to be in and out the market, but this is a lot of fluctuation. And especially as a swing trader, as I am, I want to speak from a swing bias. Where you place your entries, where you get involved in the market is quite important. If you're trying to take advantage of swing trades in the middle of a range, you're asking for a lot of trouble there. So I would definitely wait for prices to approach the low, approach the high. And in terms of the intraday price action, I can't say much on that either. We're kind of descending here, perhaps maybe getting ready for a bullish move, but I wouldn't be looking for any buys there. It looks really chaotic, no significant area. I personally would stay away. So yeah, gold's price action is very, very rubbish at the moment. Again, I'm not saying you can't find a trade there, but if you are, the aim of the game will be to be in and out pretty quickly. No big swing trade unless we do hit those big levels. Now, in terms of GJ's been interesting. We spoke about the range here. I did say at the beginning of the week that the plan is basically waiting for a breakout of this area to get some direction for GJ. It looked at one point we were getting a solid break to the downside, and we did. And I was looking for continuation of that, but we had a really aggressive push back up, so I didn't quite like that. And drop into the 50-minute time frame. We spoke about some pullbacks and then some upside. It was a really aggressive move down, I have to say. I would have wanted a slightly corrective move down, but we had a really aggressive move back down. Did dip below support slightly, but then price did recover, and we've seen some more upside of that. So now the way I'm looking at GJ is that we've had a bit of a fake of the low, which could just be a new higher low forming. A pullback of this move here, not quite for the 50, but almost. And this move here could now take us back to resistance, back into the level up here. So that's kind of what I'm looking now for GJ. Now, in terms of opportunities, would I be looking for buying opportunities on the way up? Not my favorite pair to do that, but I think you can get away with it, especially with the consistency we're starting to show now with these higher lows. You know, price has been pretty consistent now. So I would suggest the pullback. You got a relatively nice area of demand here. Lines up pretty well with the swing high. Of course, prior resistance turns support. I would suggest if price can pull back into this, start to show some signs of a higher low, that could be another smart buy, and essentially looking to continue this up move. There's a rough kind of trend line kind of protecting us. Support, support, support. Almost over there. Support there again. Potentially could act again. Of course, you're testing a nice area of demand, and of course, you've got the break and retest of the prior high. So there's a lot of confluence here to support a buy. Like I said, I do think price will make a move back to resistance there. So you've got kind of a clear-cut target to look at, or you can look at some kind of intermediate targets beforehand as well. But yeah, I would suggest some buys here make sense. Yeah, I would suggest buys make sense there. I probably would wait for a bit more emphasis on the breakout before I look for a pullback. But anywhere kind of around 199.2 looks like a sufficient area for a buy. And yeah, we'll go from there. Do we break resistance this time? Do we respect and come back down? We'll have to wait and see. But I'm looking at this as being like a dip, a higher low, for us to see some strength again and return back to highs. So yeah, GJ, I would be pretty bullish on the 15. In terms of dollar yen on the 15, I would be pretty bullish on that one as well. And of course, we finally kind of saw the breakout of this. We had a couple fake outs, one over there, another one over here, but for the most part, price has just been trading within this range and within that level there as well. Now we've seen some emphasis to the upside, a lot of conviction. I quite like the buys. I like this consolidation here. Pretty much came back for a retest, but I wouldn't mind if we drop back down again, see another test before continuation. Somewhat of like a flag pattern, and try and take the buy off that area there. Something like that. And of course, 149, I would suggest as a target to keep in mind. A really strong level of resistance. I think that would be a smart place to take profits and at least manage the trade in some way. So yeah, going forward with dollar yen, I would be pretty bullish on this one as well. I do think we can see some more upside. I would like to see another push down first before entering some long. So a retest of the range would be something I'll be interested of. We kind of missed it over there. So if you can get more short test of that level, I think that would be a smart place for an entry. And yeah, hopefully take advantage of the next swing to the upside. So yeah, UJ buys look pretty good. We've seen a lot of momentum recently. So all you're looking to do is really play that momentum. Keep finding those buying opportunities as long as we stay bullish. GJ is starting to pick up some strength. So pullback opportunities, retest opportunities look good. So yeah, I quite like what I'm seeing with the buys here for some of the yen pairs intraday. I think there is still room to the upside. Take profit 1.161. Take profit 2. Okay, I'll have a look. Do you use market sentiment in your analytics? No, not really. I mean, I can kind of gauge market sentiment just by looking at the chart, really. If something's quite overbought, then I know a lot of retail traders are going to be looking to short that. and vice versa, really. And if things are a little bit more flat, it's a bit more 50-50. So yeah, I don't really look at market sentiment too much, to be honest, because I kind of get a feel for what retail traders are doing anyway. And I don't think that's a ginormous confluence for a trade. It's a good confluence, but I wouldn't rely upon it, because in terms of the stats, retail traders in terms of directional bias are probably wrong about 55% of the time. It's not like an overwhelming number. So it's not like, okay, if I always go against the herd, I'll be correct. It's closer to 50-50 actually. Because of course, if it was like 70-30, then it would simply just be going against the retail traders to make money. But that's not the case. So yeah, I don't really see it as a huge confluence. Sure, it could provide a little bit of confidence to your position. Again, on average, they are more wrong than right. So you can use that to your advantage. But it's not a crazy advantage. And again, just from looking at the chart, I can kind of get a feel of what retail traders will most likely be doing. If something's quite bullish and overextended and has had a pretty established trend, most retail traders are looking to try and call the tops on that, and vice versa. And trading for me is all about timing, really. So what the herd is doing, yeah, that can be used to advantage. But if you're in too early, you're in too early. Okay, so we can take a look at Bashi's take profits. Okay, trying to be out this trade, almost been 3 hours. I hate being a high time frame trader. Yeah, I mean, again, it's got its pros, got its cons. It's basically just pick your poison, really. Some people don't like being in trades for too long. Yeah, that's fair, because of course it can be quite stressful. And yeah, some people it's the other way around. Yes, we can take a look at NASDAQ as well, no problem. UJ is pretty bearish fundamentally. Could that still push price action much higher? I mean, of course, if UJ's bearish fundamentally, you do expect that bias to eventually fulfill. You do expect the fundamentals to eventually come into play. Sometimes price can go against fundamentals for a bit and then eventually correct itself later on. Or, of course, maybe fundamentals change for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean, of course, if there's buying pressure in the market, not enough selling pressure to push the market back down, of course, price will go up no matter what the fundamentals are saying. But if you do have that fundamental bias and you want to trade in that direction, your task, your goal is to find opportunities that do align with that bias. If UJ is bullish right now, then that means you need to stay away, wait for the market to develop and start to show signs of bearishness. And if that isn't the case, then there is no trade there for you. What I can see right now is a lot of bullish momentum, especially intraday. I think just looking for pullbacks on the way up makes the most sense. Maybe price does hit some structure and we start to turn around and look bearish again, maybe. But that's something we'll probably speak about more so next week. But yeah, if you're going to focus on that bias, don't try and look for buy opportunities in the meantime. Stick with that bias until proven otherwise, really. But yeah, Bashi, you said you got some take profits. 1.161. Okay, that's around there. Not too far away. And 1.16240. Okay, I mean, I say it's not too far away. But I suppose it's probably a big risk reward in that position. Because you probably like to use maybe the 5 minute or 1 minute to take that trade. But yeah, I can see that happening, to be honest. I can see price moving there. I did say I don't like the break and retest of this area earlier in the stream just because of where we're trading from. Very significant level of support. I wouldn't be looking to try and take a short here. I know that we do have a lot of bearish momentum and price did drop again. But for me, this is just not the area to be looking to sell from. So I can see a world where we do break to the upside and see some strength there. Of course, maybe price does respect the area. We don't have that absolute certainty of what price is going to do next. But yeah, I would refrain from the shorts because of where we're trading. And quite frankly, I like the idea of shorts up here as well. So if price can go and hit your targets, I think that could be a nice follow-up idea on Euro to take some shorts. Okay, so we can take a look at NASDAQ next. I'll have a look at the yen basket as well because I haven't actually looked at that yet. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. 3 pip stop loss, yeah. Exactly. So it didn't look like a huge move, but for 3 pip stop loss, that is a pretty big move. Oh, okay. 2 hours max. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, you can't be focused on everything at once, especially on the lower time frames. You want to have that kind of laser focus. Obviously, sometimes you might miss out on the better trade because you're focusing on another pair. But then, yeah, sometimes it'll be the other way around. Sometimes you're focusing on the right pair at the right time, and maybe a bit of luck helped you out along the way as well, in terms of focusing on the right pair. But yeah, I think in terms of the market structure, I think we can see more upside. Of course, the market's going to do whatever it wants as long as you manage the position. There's not much more you can do really. So in terms of NAS, I quite like what I'm seeing in terms of the wicks here, to be honest. Really aggressive wicks forming as we do approach a big area of demand on the daily chart. So of course, this is our last pullback, our last aggressive dip. Price formed this low, had a really aggressive push to the upside, seeing some new highs there. Now we're seeing a bunch of wicks over here as well. So I do think we can see another rally. I'm still pretty bullish on the NAS. I do think a bigger pullback is due. So yes, we've been rallying. Yes, we've been seeing a lot of upside. I do think we are due another one of these bigger corrections. Maybe not as big as this. Maybe something more in that nature, or maybe even this nature here. I do think we're due one of those bigger corrections. But yeah, the market is still bullish. And for now, as long as we develop here, I do think we can see a nice rally. And the wicks we're seeing on the daily chart, on the 4-hour chart, are kind of backing up that story as well. So yeah, we're looking really corrective here. It depends what time frame you're looking to trade this on. If you're like, let's say intraday hourly chart, I would wait for a bullish trend to start to establish, let's say a nice break of structure, some pullbacks, and then we can look for maybe a retest of this high here. So at that point, we've got this low, we've got a high, we've got a higher low, a higher high, and now we're looking for the next higher low. So we've got some bullish structure to trade, and then now it makes sense for the buys, of course, being in the giant area of demand as well, so that helps in terms of the confidence of the trade. So in terms of looking for buys, you can be quite aggressive if you want and try and pick some longs now or some stops underneath the lows there. I say it's aggressive because you really haven't got the buying pressure in yet. Yes, you've seen some rejections, so it makes sense, but you're relying on the strength coming in, which hasn't really happened yet. If you wait for a strong up move, you've already got the strength in the market, then it's your plan, it's your goal just to simply look for the pullback of that to hopefully catch the next leg. You got some areas of supply here to watch out for, but I would be probably looking to target the highs there really. So in terms of NAS, again, looking to buy. We're in a bullish location right now. Again, just in terms of keeping it simple, I would wait for an established breakout, real strength to the upside. And then from an intraday point of view, look for pullbacks of that leg to hopefully find the next buy opportunity on the way up. Maybe a breaking retest of the high, maybe even a breaking retest of this high, but something of that nature. So yeah, I like what I'm seeing with NAS. A lot of rejection at the lows here. Perhaps this is a low forming. Let's wait for the conviction to really come in, and then we can talk about some corrections of that and a continuation later on. And then yeah, my expectation longer term will be a push just back to highs. As long as we don't break structure, which is this low, as long as we don't suddenly turn bearish and break the low there, I do see us eventually pushing to the upside. So yeah, I am pretty bullish for NAS. Okay, so hey, appreciate it, Bashi. Yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, finding it useful, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe. It does really help out, and of course, drop any questions. It does. It helps the engagement of the stream out, and of course, if you do have any questions, drop it down, and I'll be sure to ask you any questions as well. I mean, answer your questions, and I might ask them questions as well, for that matter. Bashi, follow me on X. Cool, I'll follow you back, man. Yeah, I'll do that after the stream though. Yusuf, thoughts on gold? I'm going to lose my mind if I speak about gold again. I know you're talking about the 50-minute chart as well. But yeah, I mean, for gold, I mean, we spoke about bounce here, which actually played out pretty well. We spoke about that bounce yesterday. I pointed out this support level. I said we might have somewhat of like an inverse head and shoulder pattern, left head, right shoulder. It's been a pretty significant level of support. This is looking like a big fake out. So I would suggest that this could provide a nice support and a nice reaction. I also said, don't bank on a huge move. You know, look for a reaction which potentially might give us here and then kind of be done with the trade. Potentially, you might see a swing back to highs. We kind of got in between the two. We broke past that, but didn't quite reach the highs. And now price is back here again. Now, would I look for another buy? Yeah, I mean, price is rejecting well, but I wouldn't bank on big moves here. This is a type of trade where if I was to take it, I'll be very kind of watchful of pretty much each candle as it does print. If I start to see momentum start to creep to the downside again, I'll pull the plug because the nature of the market is really choppy. So the idea is, can we pick the lows? Can we pick the highs? And, you know, play these kind of minor swings and then, you know, call it quits. We're not looking for a big swing trade. We're not looking to trade momentum here. We're looking to trade, you know, support resistance really. Even if we do push the lows here, I think that's a significant level for a buy as well. We're not really seeing much conviction. So yeah, I think this is still a nice place for a buy as it was yesterday. We're still seeing rejection there. I think if I was looking to enter a trade now, I would want to see price test the level again and react again, because this last reaction has been pretty flat. Hasn't really given me much confidence for a big buy. Let's say if we do push into support again, a few more wicks, a strong reaction, maybe something like we did here. Yeah, I think that could be a smart trade. And then in terms of targets, I think this range here is something to keep an eye on. Again, not looking for huge moves here, not trying to shoot for the moon, trying to be a bit more on the conservative side of things. Maybe we do see a push all the way back here, but I'll be watchful of the trade as we approach this zone here, locking in some gains, trading stops, and things look like they're picking up for the bearish side of things. Very quick to exit the trade and walk away. So yeah, 50-minute perspective, I still think it's a nice place for a bounce. If this doesn't hold and we push lower, I think this is a nice place for a bounce as well. But the way we get there and how we react is going to be very important. So I'm not saying blindly buy here. Wait for healthy rejections to back up the trade. But keep things short and sweet. That's the main advice. That's my main pointer. Because you're not seeing any sustained moves anyway. If things were trending well, and you were seeing clear highs and clear lows, then of course you can be aggressive, shoot for the highs, try even push the trade past the highs. But you're not seeing that condition here. So don't try and look to follow momentum. Not the best place for it at all. Yesterday didn't see a good candle to enter the gold trade. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, there was the wick rejection, but yeah, I probably do agree with you in terms of the entry. I wouldn't say momentum looked good. I mean, we eventually picked it. But yeah, it's just really choppy. So you want to play off the lows and play off the highs. I wouldn't bother with trying to follow momentum. No problem. Happy to help because I was also looking for buys. Is that for Bitcoin as well? So remember you mentioned Bitcoin. Yeah. For Bitcoin, oh no, for Nasdaq. For Nasdaq, yeah, buys make sense as well. I think in terms of the indices, I'm still pretty bullish across the board. If I have a look at the DAX, yep, I'm still bullish on that one. Oh, okay, looks like we're still holding on to this area. I gave out two levels, two areas where potentially the DAX could see some strength this week. I said this area of demand could be one, and this support could be the other. I mean, of course, this is a very significant level of support. If we do get there again and react well, I think that's a very much a no-brainer as a place to buy the market. Really nice retest a couple of weeks back. If we get there again, lovely place for a buy. And also, this area of demand, a nice consolidation, strong rate to the upside. Naturally, that's going to be an area which price can find support. and potentially rally from. I like the wicks. We're still seeing a lot of rejection here. Looks like we're starting to see some momentum. If this candle can close strong, I think that could be a nice entry on itself, actually, on the 4-hour chart, because we've had this kind of consolidation here, which price has been kind of back and forth, and this looks like potentially a breakout candle of all of that noise. If this can close strongly in the next hour and 8 minutes, I think that could be a nice entry on itself. Some stops underneath the zone, targets back at the high, and then maybe if everything goes really well, targets at the all-time high there at 24,649. And of course, if that doesn't play out, you've always got this level slightly below, looking for the exact same move, which will probably give you a better risk to reward. But again, price has to get there first as well. It might not do that. But for now, I like what we're seeing. Starting to see some conviction. Of course, always waiting for candles to close to really confirm momentum, if it's there or not, because this could pull back and leave a huge wick. And in that case, I wouldn't be looking to buy. If it does close strongly, great. That could be a nice setup and a nice entry. But either which way, the DAX, I do think is likely to see some upside. US 30. I mean, the rejection looks really good, I must say. Really kind of corrective. Looks like we're respecting areas of demand to our left there. Perhaps we could see a rally, but the location is absolutely awful for US 30. I would not be looking to buy the market where we're positioned. Not to say that we can't break out, we can't continue higher. Of course we can, but I wouldn't want to find that out with a trade. I'll wait for price to give us the breakout and then look for pullbacks afterwards. This could be a really nice level for a break and retest opportunity, which could look for a huge swing potentially. But at the same time, yes, we're seeing some nice wicks on the low time frames. Looks like momentum's coming in on the 4-hour. We've got a brick wall in front of us there. So I'll be quite cautious with the buys. I mean, I'm bullish long term. I do think this level is likely to break for US 30. So my bias is bullish. I'll just be very watchful of that trade. And in terms of the S&P, S&P also seeing some nice wicks as well. Looks like we're starting to correct as well. So again, a strong move to the upside and then a pullback of that, similar to the US 30, not US 30, sorry, the NAS idea, US 100. I would look for something similar of that nature. Another push to highs, or at least a push into this area, because that's where we had a lot of that bearish strength come in. At least a push there. We might sell off. But yeah, I do think that's a nice opportunity to keep an eye on. So across the board, indices still looking bullish. I know we've had a bit of a sell-off as of late, but they haven't broken through any significant support, any key swing lows. None of that has been taken out. So for the major indices, I am still pretty bullish. Okay, enterprise. Oh, is that for gold? Okay, nice. Yeah, I back that. I back that, Yusuf. I think it's a nice place for a buy. Again, it's not the best price action. If I had to trade gold on an intraday chart, that's what I'll look for. But luckily enough, I don't have to trade gold, and especially not an intraday chart either. So yeah, it's not a setup which I would get too excited for. But again, if I'm looking to trade this chart, how would I look to trade it? It would be looking to try and pick the lows off this area. I've seen some nice rejections, 1, 2, 3, and of course 4 now. So that would naturally be an area which I try to find support. And again, I'll be quite conservative with targets, not looking for anything major. If I can get pushed to 33, 37, I'll be pretty happy with that. Of course, maybe you do see a swing to the upside, but I wouldn't bank on it necessarily. It's more so, if momentum just starts to fly in my direction, great, I'll manage it accordingly. But if I do start to see some signs of struggle and reversal in that area, I can be quick to call it quits in that trade and walk away. So yeah, not the biggest fan of gold. Just waiting for these two setups really in terms of a swing idea, and then I can go from there. But yeah, DXY has just been a little bit choppy. Ideally I could have stayed in my Euro USD short trade, but I just wasn't liking the price action and the way we closed. So I did close the trade early. Maybe in hindsight I was a bit too aggressive with the management, but you're not going to be perfect. Some trades you will get out early, which do play out, and some trades you'll get out at the perfect time. You get out early, and you're meant to get out early. You're not going to get that 100% right all the time. Of course, you're always trying to improve and trying to better your exits, because exits are just important as entries. So you're always trying to better your exits, better your entries as well. But you're not going to be perfect. So you do need to put a pinch of salt and a bit of understanding of that. You know, that, okay, you can kick yourself. You wish you stayed in the trade, or you wish you got out earlier. But then, at least have an understanding that, even if you did the right thing, sometimes it's the wrong thing as well. So, Euro, I'm still not overly a fan of it. I think intraday looks good in terms of trying to pick these highs here. In terms of momentum, it's not like we've picked up a lot, and we still do have support below us here, which I feel like could get a little bit noisy there. So I'm a bit watchful of that. But in terms of the JPY basket, I have shifted my attention more so to the yen pairs. I think some big swings could be looking to develop there. I think as of right now, we are still quite flat. If we go to the daily chart, we are quite flat. But I'm still looking at another bearish swing into the lows here. The way I see it, this kind of trend is still in full play. Price has been respecting it very, very well. And I'm looking at this as another pullback into that area, and perhaps another continuation into the lows. So that's kind of where my bearish bias comes from on the yen itself. Looking at the yen basket, of course, if you're not familiar with the yen basket, this is the yen grouped up with other currency pairs, other major currency pairs, Aussie, CAD, pound, euro, dollar, grouped up, and it's showing you the yen strength relative to those other currencies. And at the moment, because of this bearish trend, of course, yen has been a lot stronger. Yen has been a lot weaker. This bearish trend, yen has been a lot weaker. So, of course, a lot of the yen pairs have been pushing higher. So because of this, and because I'm expecting it to continue down, that means naturally I'm expecting the yen pairs to continue higher. And that's kind of aided my bias and aided my setup in terms of buying Aussie yen, in terms of a continuation to the upside for this one as well. Of course, in terms of the market structure, I've got a lot going for me here as well. I particularly like the 3-day chart. Really nice structure here in particular. A lovely wick there. Looks like we're forming another wick into the zone there as well. I like the weekly chart too. A lot of wicks here forming. Looks like we could be forming another wick here for this week. This weekly candle still does have another 10 hours left before it does close, so a lot can happen. But I like where I'm positioned. And I'm simply just looking for the continuation of this breakout. Lovely momentum. We've pulled back. Can we now see a conviction? If the yen does keep falling, then we should likely see that. But we'll go from there. Again, I took the low of this kind of channel, so that's kind of where I'm trying to position myself from. And the plan is to see a push to the upper end. We'll go from there. Maybe we do come back down. Maybe we get a breakout. I'll monitor the situation there. And if things look good, hold through that. Then the targets will be a push to the high. Probably lock in a lot of my gains there. And then see what we do. Maybe we get a sharp breakout. Maybe you get a bit of a consolidation and that breaks out higher. Or maybe price consolidates and starts to look bearish. At that point, I'll probably pull the plug and walk away from that position after capturing a pretty nice swing there. But Aussie yen is the trade I'm in at the moment. I closed the pound Aussie long trade yesterday. I didn't really like the rejection there, so I just called it quits on that one. Really took advantage of the nice swing. Now I'm starting to see some rejection at the high. I did say I was trying to hold for a breakout, and I was, but I just wasn't seeing the progression or the continuation I was after. After this close here, that was enough for me to exit the trade and just walk away with what I had. I still think potentially we do go through the breakout longer term. Pound entity has really set the standard, a really comfortable break to the upside here. This might even still want to go high and take at the highs there. But you can see the breakout we've had of that range. I do think pound Aussie in the long term is probably going to do something similar. They're very, very similar pairs. So I do think we can break out of this and eventually hit the high. But you can see the rejection we were getting, some wicks there. I wasn't prepared to sit through that because we could push down again before we do push higher. So I wasn't prepared to sacrifice all the pips I've caught for that to happen. I'd rather just look for a re-entry or re-enter on the breakout and take what I have. So yeah, that's the pound Aussie done and dusted there. Now all focus will be on Aussie yen. I was debating Euro USD, but like I said, momentum just wasn't there. I mean, maybe it does play out, maybe it doesn't, but momentum wasn't really picking up well, so I just decided to leave it alone. What's your bias on the in basket in the 15? Okay, it's a good question actually. We've looked at a few of the yen pairs on the 50-minute chart. Haven't looked at this one. Actually, let me just delete everything because it will get in the way of the 15. In the 50-minute chart, I mean, the way I see it on the full hour is that this is like a flag pattern for us to continue lower. But from a 50-minute perspective, I wouldn't necessarily be looking to short here. Even the breakout is not looking too outstanding. It's not like we've seen a crazy drop. We could do, but we haven't seen that yet. So I'll be a bit watchful of that. If anything, this is a bullish territory. This is a bullish location, coming back to some areas of demand where we did see a nice push to the upside, testing the low of the channel. This is an area which would make sense for buys. I would probably suggest we're kind of consolidating here. Maybe a strong break to the upside past that resistance could be a nice entry. Or even kind of waiting for something to establish itself and then look for pullbacks of that for more upside. So if I was exclusively looking at the 15, the only thing I would be doing here is looking to buy, or of course wait for a breakout to signify momentum's continuing. Maybe even break through this low here as well. And then I'll be looking at pullbacks of that for continuation. And that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting price to break the flag pattern to the downside and continue to lows here, lows there, so on and so forth. So I am pretty bearish, but it will depend on a strong break of that for continuation. If price does decide it wants to rally again, we could see price break to the upside in it. And because of the location we're at, the buys make sense too. So I would suggest if I'm looking at the 50-minute chart, I would be neutral. So kind of ignoring my higher time frame bias and my higher time frame analysis. If I'm exclusively looking at the 15, my bias would be neutral here because we're at a sensitive area which could present some buys or it could present a breakout for some sells. So I would effectively be neutral, kind of waiting for more information, waiting for price to really pick a direction here. Because I would still say we're quite flat and trading at a significant area of confluence. So yeah, I would be neutral, kind of waiting for more evidence of what price is going to do. Of course, when I zoom out to the higher time frames, 4-hour daily, I'm bearish. But again, I wouldn't try and take advantage of that on the 15 at this particular price. We need a strong break of the low and then hopefully some pullbacks. And then, yeah, that's where the sells on the 15 come into play. If not, we might even see another bullish leg, back to highs. That could always happen as well. But yeah, I would kind of just wait for more information from a 15. But looking at other pairs on the 15, so the GJ we looked at, UJ we looked at, they look pretty bullish on the 15. Those are probably one of the more bullish of the yen pairs. CAD Yen's quite interesting as well. I was speaking a lot about CAD Yen shorts at the start of the week. But I'm quite cautious of those shorts now. I'm quite cautious of the shorts. We're starting to form this wedge pattern, which again is more of a bullish pattern than the bearish one. We did break through this counter trend line, which was a part of the confluences of why I wanted to look to short CAD Yen. But I wanted to see a bit more conviction here to the downside before taking any shorts. And because of how corrective we've been, if I drop to the 4-hour chart, because of how corrective we've been, I think we might see something like that happen for CAD Yen, even despite the break of that counter trend line. This has been really corrective and show me characteristics of a higher lows, very, very similar to what we did over here. Quite corrective, kind of flag pattern there. Put a low in, eventually broke to the upside, saw a nice continuation. I'm kind of expecting something similar to happen again. And that will probably take us back to the highs here at 109 or just shy of 109. So yeah, CAD Yen, I was at least looking for selling opportunities coming into the week, but that doesn't look like the case anymore. And if price does break to the upside, that for me is a strong bullish signal, and I'll be expecting a push to 109. So, and again, if the yen basket is going to drop as well, that will help. That will help CAD yen rise. So, looking at a lot of the yen pairs, they're either quite flat or they're looking a tad bullish. I just typed CAD yen again, didn't I? I meant to type CHF I think Swiss yen was seeing the same characteristic as well, which is we are looking a little bit flat. Well, we are looking very flat, but we are hinting at a breakout. You could argue we've had a breakout, but I probably wouldn't say that's a really convincing one, so I wouldn't get too excited off that just yet. Maybe if I can see a stronger close, I'll be like, okay, yeah, we've got the breakout. Then intraday pullbacks could look good, even though long on the breakout. I mean, probably the long on the breakout probably might not look great in terms of stop loss placement. You could put a stop loss here and be a bit more aggressive. You could put a stop loss here and be very conservative. But of course, yeah, that would really sabotage your risk reward. You're probably not even looking at 1-to-1 back into the high. So I think the breakout, if you are going to take it, it has to look something like this, which will probably still give you more than a 1-to-1, just shy of 1-to-2 back into the high. Or if you really want to focus on risk reward, wait for the breakout to happen, look for some type of retest on like an hourly chart or 30 or 15 maybe. And you can probably refine it even further. And that actually becomes a very good risk reward, maybe like a 1-to-5 or something. So yeah, so that'll probably be the best way to take advantage of that move. But despite that, again, I want to see a bit more strength to really kind of signify this breakout is the real deal, but we're hinting at it. You know, this is the highest price we've seen. Let's see what momentum can bring us. So yeah, if that's the case, like I said, all kind of yen pairs are still quite flat or hinting at maybe a bullish breakout or bullish momentum. Swiss yen is doing exactly that. It's hinting that we're going to break to the upside and break out of this consolidation. If that's the case, then that's the target. I mean, if you look at the higher time frames for Swiss yen, the overall market is, of course, still very, very bullish. I think it is still quite stretched and still quite overextended, and I'm still expecting a pretty big retracement at some point in time, but it might not be here yet. Maybe price wants to see a couple more bullish legs before we do see that retracement. Yeah, that could be the case. But I've said pretty much for the past couple of weeks that Swiss yen's been in a range. Depending which we break out will kind of be my thought process for the next few days for Swiss yen in terms of the direction. And if it is going to break to the upside, then yeah, maybe for next week we just see price rally back to highs. And there could be some nice pullback opportunities, especially intraday. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. We spoke briefly about Euro yen. I think Euro yen's hinting at the same thing as well. You know, I mean, it's still quite flat right now, but if it can break to the upside, I do think we're just going to continue the momentum we saw throughout most of the year. Really powerful momentum on the breakout. We've got a massive high just above our heads. I think there's a very high chance that price goes back and tests that level at 175 as well. I think the only thing missing is just a sharp break to the upside to either buy or look for pullbacks on. In terms of Aussie yen, of course, I spoke about that one. That's the yen pair I'm in. I'm happy with this one in terms of the pullback. It's been quite corrective, and I'm liking the position of it as well. I think in terms of risk reward, it's probably one of the better yen pairs to look into. I'm not saying we're guaranteed to see a move to the upside, but I am looking at that. And in terms of risk rewards, I think I'm positioned pretty well for it. And yeah, if price can hold into this area, I do think we can see some more upside. New Zealand yen is probably the yen pair which I like the least in terms of the buys, just because of how corrective we've been on the way up. So it hasn't really given me much motivation to be looking to buy it in the first place. And then we have kind of broke through structure, but really, really corrective. So there's not much there for me to cling on to. And of course, we've seen some very powerful bearish moves, which was aided with the news earlier this week with NZD really showing a lot of conviction lower. So if anything, I don't mind the short here, to be honest, with New Zealand yen. Of course, if all the other yen pairs are going to continue higher, then there's a very strong likelihood that New Zealand yen will continue higher too. But maybe you do see a nice short from that area for maybe a day or two, and then we continue higher afterwards. You know, that could be the case there with New Zealand yen. So this one's the only one which I don't like the buys. I don't think the setup's that great for. I think the shorts around here actually look pretty decent. Trying to catch next lower high, strong level of supply, a lot of momentum in the shorts, it makes sense. But all the other yen pairs, maybe dollar yen is the other yen pair, which I'm not the biggest fan of in terms of the buys as well. We haven't been very bullish. We are quite corrective. I think intraday, yes, the buys make sense. But on the 4-hour chart, it's a little bit messy. There's levels of resistance above us I have to watch out for as well. But CAD yen could be looking good. Euro yen could be looking good. Pound yen could be looking good. Aussie yen could be looking good. And Swiss yen could be looking good. Those yen pairs, I think there's some nice breakout opportunities and some big swings coming up. And especially intraday as well, looking for intraday pullbacks. I think they make the most sense. And especially if we do get that bearish continuation for the yen basket, which is what I am banking on, which is simply this trend continuing. If we do see price just continue this trend and continue back to support, then all those yen pairs I just mentioned are likely to rally. So yeah, that's what my focus will be in for now. Again, I've been talking a lot about the DXY, but I just haven't seen the momentum. And I think the yen could be the difference maker here. But in fairness, the price is kind of playing out for the dollar. It's just a shame that I'm not in the trade for it. You got one low, second low, third low. We are running to some resistance now. We'll see what the next play is. Do we respect this area? Do we break through? Equally, there could be some shorts off that area for a push back down. If we do see a healthy breakout, well, yeah, I do expect us to push back to high. So now that we've seen this initial rally, this initial strength for the dollar, the next plan is to see what we do at this 99 level. Well, 98, 99 level. And then that will be my next plan for next week or the week after. Depends how long it takes for us to really develop here and get a clear-cut signal. But at the moment, we've just tested the level. We've only just arrived there. So now I'm basically going to monitor what price does here. Do we consolidate? Do we break through straight away? Do we see some aggressive wicks? Those are the questions I'll be asking myself. And depending which way we break through, we got targets either back to the low here or back to the high over there. That is an awful line. Let's do that again. There we go. Yusuf, are you in any trades that could be affected today by news today? Let's have a look, see. I mean, even if I am, I'm not going to do anything different. Again, on the 4-hour chart, you're going to run into news that is going to affect your trade at some point in time. My previous trade for pound Aussie, I held for 2 weeks. You know, throughout those 2 weeks, you are going to encounter news that does affect your trade. But the benefit of the higher time frames is that normally you do have a stop loss big enough to stomach the trade. So you're not really trading with tight stop losses, so you don't have to worry too much about that. But regardless if I am in a trade that is affected by news or not affected by news, I'm still going to stay in the trade. Because if I close my trade every time a news event that could affect my trade happens, I wouldn't get anywhere. I'll be in a trade and out the trade very, very quickly, and it'll be difficult to look for any meaningful swing in the market. But I'm going through the news for today. And we did have JPY inflation earlier, so that did affect my trade actually. I was asleep at that time, so I wasn't watching it. But again, yeah, it comes back to the stop loss placements and not having aggressive stop losses for big swings. Of course, that could be a problem if I did have a tight one, but I do have a lot of buffer room. But yeah, JPY did affect my trade earlier today, but going forward, we mainly just got CAD news, a Powell speech. Yeah, that could affect the trade potentially, not directly, but sometimes it can have effect. I'm not expecting anything major, to be honest. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, CAD, no, it shouldn't really affect my trade. Powell speech, maybe. But yeah, even if it does, I'm going to see the trade out. No problem, Dmart. Happy to help. Have a great weekend. Thank you for tuning in. We'll hopefully see you next week. So yeah, if you are going to be keeping an eye on news, which of course you should be, you do want to keep an eye relative to what you're doing. In terms of myself, I keep an eye on news just for the big events, so like NFP, Fed interest rates, CPI, maybe any interest rate that does affect my currency that I'm in, so pound, Aussie, then respectively Aussie yen. But besides from that, any other event I'm not really too concerned about in terms of the initial impacts, of course. But if I was intraday, if it was like on the 50-minute chart, then I would keep an eye at a lot more news events and probably contemplate exiting trades early because of it. No problem, Lebzy. I don't know who that is. So... Oh, okay, no. I can see the speech at 1 a.m. on Saturday. Maybe. I'm really not too concerned about it, to be honest. Again, like I said, the only events that I do pay attention to relative to my trading is NFP, Fed interest rates, any interest rates regarding the currency I'm in, CPI as well. PPI, not really. Sometimes it can affect it, but not really anything substantial. But yeah, I would not be keeping an eye on that, to be honest. But maybe, I mean, it says high impact, so there could be something there, but I'm not going to be keeping up to date with that. Let me have a look at next week, because I'm pretty sure we're due... Okay, maybe not. Okay, I forward you Aussie interest rates, but it looks like that's not next week. Okay, it's oh no, it is next week. It is next week. Oh no, it's the minutes. That's 2:30 on Tuesday. I thought we were supposed to have a Aussie interest rate soon, so that I would keep an eye on, because of course I'm buying Aussie at the moment. But no, it's the meeting minutes. So again, I'm not expecting too much from that either. But I'll keep an eye. I mean, I'll be asleep when it happens. I'll be at 2:30 in the morning. Yeah, I'm not gonna be waking up for that. So yeah, in terms of the news upcoming, at least for the rest of the day and next week, there's nothing major. Let me actually look for USD before I say that. Monday, new home sales. Tuesday, durable goods. Wednesday, nothing really. Thursday, jobless claims. Yeah, that could cause a bit of movement there. I'll keep an eye on that. GDP growth rate, I'll keep an eye on that as well. Friday, PCE as well. I mean, not the big boys, but I would suggest, again, if you're intraday, I'll keep an eye on those. For out in this trade. Welcome to my world. But actually, I mean, 4 hours is nothing. I mean, I trade the 4-hour chart, so I have to wait 4 hours just for a new candle to close. It's a whole different world. Yeah, I mean, especially if you enter with 3 pip stop loss and you're in a trade for 4 hours, that's a long time. Yeah, 3 pip stop loss. Normally, people are in and out pretty quickly. But of course, you know, if a trade does go your way, I mean, if it does consolidate as well, it's going to take its time. Do you have like a set limit for how long you can be in for a trade, or do you just do it until completion? Because I know some intraday traders who would take a trade and they'll have like a limit in terms of how long they can be in the trade, or like, you know, at the end of London session or when the US session starts, potentially they look to close the trade early, or something of that nature. I think in terms of intraday, it kind of makes. I mean, at the kind of the latest, of course, you probably don't want to hold overnight through swaps and spreads widening. That would be a bit of a hindrance. EuroCAD Raheel. Okay, we can take a look at that. Was I supposed to take a look at that earlier? I probably was. Apologies if I didn't. But we can go through EuroCAD. Trade duration is an example, and the take profit, which is data driven. Okay, so what you hold till your take profit is hit then? So you're not really concerned about the duration of the trade? Okay, typical 1.5 to 2 hours, max 2 hours and a half. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at EuroCAD. So Euro Canadian. So yeah, with this one, it looks like we're due a bit of a pullback. I think we are a little bit stretched, and I think we're due a bit of a push lower. And this is a nice area of confidence for a long, especially if you're interested in a swing trade. We've got these previous lows, 1, 2, 3, 4. This could be a fifth potentially if we pull back into that. Could be a nice bounce for a continuation. I would say the trend looks like it's starting to tire in terms of the whole complete trend. I think we are going to be due one of these downturns pretty soon. Also, where we're trading is really, really significant. If I expand to the monthly chart and look to the left, you can see we're trading at really significant resistance here at 1.6. I would be quite cautious of this level in terms of the buys, because we could sell off pretty aggressively from this level. If you look at the previous moves from this area, we have seen pretty big moves down. But in terms of what we're doing right now, we've just seen some new highs recently, and we are looking really, really corrective. So I do think in due course we'll probably see EuroCAD go for a bit of a sell-off. Would I be looking to short the highs? Probably not, because price can always go a little bit higher. It's always difficult to try and call the tops in the trend. Price can always sweep the highs one more time, take you out, and then drop, unless you're kind of shorting from like a key significant area, which I'm not really seeing much of at the moment. Yeah, I would kind of be a bit careful with the shorts. If anything, actually no, I was about to say, if anything, buys still look respectable at this area. I think you still probably can get a bounce here, but I would be careful because it looks like price is starting to form some equal highs. 1, 2, 3. So we are struggling at highs now. But yeah, EuroCAD, I do think we're likely to sell off. If you're looking for a swing trade, that's where my focus will be. 1.59. Again, I'll be quite cautious because, of course, we mapped out that monthly zone. So I wouldn't be so optimistic in terms of targeting the highs. I'll be quite watchful of the trade, look for red flags, potentially look to get out early if things are not going to plan. But for now, intraday longs, sure, I can get behind that, but I'll be careful at the highs. We're seeing some rejection there. If you're interested in the swing trade, that's where the confidence does lie. But either which way, I would be very cautious about the sells. Very, very cautious about the sells. Yes, I do expect to move down, but it's just difficult to time that well. GPJ Forex, yes, I am. It's nice watching your video. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Are you from Nigeria as well? Okay. How I trade big volatile moves, yeah. I mean, it makes sense, especially on the low time frames. You're trying to take advantage of those reactions, and that's how you're going to get bigger risk rewards. I'm long since yesterday. Is that for EuroCAD? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, again, not every day is going to go to plan, but again, it's on the average what we're looking for. Some trades you will get, which is earlier than 20 to 35 minutes, I'd imagine. Some trades you'd be like maybe 5 minutes, and price is already at areas where you can look to lock in gains. And of course, some trades are going to take a little bit longer as well, like today, unfortunately. Nice JP Forex, JPJ Forex. Yeah, in terms of my focus, it's just going to be on Aussie yen for now. I don't really have any other pairs which I'm looking to take. I was looking at Euro, but not a big fan of that anymore. And it will be a bit late entering now, to be honest. So I'm going to back away from Euro USD shorts for now. I mean, I do have quite a few pairs which I'm interested in next week, but they kind of need to finalize and set up. I'm going to wait for today's candle and weekly candle to close before I really do dive into them. Of course, I will post my weekly analysis on the weekend, so do look out for that. That will kind of summarize this week and then forecast the next as well, and share with you some of my top picks for next week. So do keep an eye on that. But yeah, as for my kind of watch list going to next week, roughly, I would say New Zealand CAD shorts. I really like what I'm seeing with New Zealand CAD. Really powerful bearish candle a couple of days ago. I do think we're likely to see a continuation of that. So very bearish there for New Zealand CAD. That will be in the watch list next week for pullbacks. I mean, I'll keep an eye on pound Aussie, but I wouldn't say that's on the watch list next week just yet, because we do need to get a breakout of this range. So I'm waiting for a convincing break of the high, and then simply the target will be trading it back to the next high. So that will be something I'll be interested of, but the breakout is not here yet. In terms of the USD pairs, I don't really have much in USD pairs at the moment, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, silver, I'm keeping an eye on the supply zone here, because I think we can still see some downside, but we're not quite there yet with confirmations. If I can see a strong close, that'll be enough for me to take an entry, something like this. Stops above the zone, and then targeting the low here, maybe some lows here as well if things go really well. So I still quite like the shorts then for silver, especially if dollar is going to be strong. Yeah, and then of course I'm in Aussie yen, so I'm not going to jump into another yen pair because I don't want to overdo it on the yen pairs. Wow, you're still streaming through this time, Bashi. Wow. All right, take care, Yusuf. Have a good one. I appreciate you tuning in. Take care, take care. So yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on the yen pairs, especially on the yen basket as well, because if that can fall, then that will hopefully help my trade out quite a lot, actually. But in terms of USD, I'm thinking I'm going to take a step back, especially with the DXY approaching that level at 99. There might be some nice breakouts. There might be a rejection off that. That's kind of really what I'm waiting for to kind of plot my next bias, plot my next swing. If it's going to be a swing like that or a swing to the low, I'm still waiting for more information before really sticking to one. So DXY, I'm going to keep an eye on. Yen, I'm bearish from the yen right now, so looking for a lot of the yen pairs to rally. Crosses, New Zealand CAD is the pick of the bunch for me right now. CHF pair is not really interested in at the moment right now either. So yeah, don't have a lot of pairs I'm interested in. Again, it comes and goes, especially with swing trading. Sometimes you got like 10 pairs to choose from. Sometimes you'll be lucky to get a trade, once during the week. Sometimes it can be a bit slower. I think at the moment it's a bit on the slow stage, but I'll monitor Aussie yen and hopefully we can see that momentum kick in. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I mean, that's a long stream, very long stream. But anyway, guys, we have come to the end of this stream as well. I will be live again next week, as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time, as every weekday. So if you're interested, make sure you tune in, come check it out. If you have enjoyed today's stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, share it with your friends, all the good stuff. It does really help out. Of course, I do really appreciate it. And make sure you check out the video on the weekend. I'll be posting my analysis, kind of recapping this week and forecast the next, showing my top picks for the upcoming week, what I'm interested in. So do check out that video, which will be live Saturday afternoon. And of course, if you haven't checked out Zentrix, the community Telegram, I did drop a link in the chat, but I will do it again. There we go. So check it out if you haven't checked it out already. Also check out the Perps platform as well. We do have ideas for competitions coming up, and there will be prizes and rewards for that as well. So if you are interested, do check out the Zentrix community Telegram. There's more information there regarding the project. But thank you so much for tuning into the stream. Thank you, Bashi, for dropping that message. Drop a like if you have enjoyed it, guys. Subscribe, hit the bell, share it with your friends. All that good stuff is appreciated. But until the next one, have a great one. Have a great weekend as well. And I'll catch you all in the next one.
Introducing Zentrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zentrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zentrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.